70's and 80's TV, the effect it had on me. This week on Dave J. Tuesday, and a peek at Valentine's Day.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dave J. Tuesday on February 9th. That's Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. I'm your old pal Dave J. from New York City, songwriter, performer, storyteller, characters. I'm delighted to be with you once again in our journey to investigate what was it about the influence of television, particularly in the 70s and 80s, particularly, how many extra L's can I add in there? Let me know in the commenter section below. Beetle Mike is already here letting us know that it's, hey Dave J, Beetle Mike here, yeah. I gave you a double arm pump tonight. I feel good, and I hope you do too. In fact, let me know how you're doing in the commenter section below. We've spent the last prior 2 weeks discussing these television influences, and boy, what a rabbit hole. When I started putting this together, I would have never even thought that far ahead that I would be even into 3 shows talking about these things, but goodness gracious, I could go on and on and on. I think you get the idea. We're going to pick up right now where we left off last week, because our dear friend Adam Slavitt, I don't know if you're here, Adam. If you are, or maybe now your skin is itching because I'm mentioning you and I'm about to refer to something you said last week when I asked you to share the TV shows that had an impact on you. And Adam mentioned All in the Family. Well, this got me thinking, of course, there's so many references I'm going to inevitably leave out because there's just an endless number of wonderful programming from years past. Let me take this opportunity, too, to invite you, not you, yes, you to let us know in the commenter section below your favorite shows, your least favorite shows, the infomercials that influenced you most, perhaps. I don't care. Just let us know. Keep the commenter going is what I'm trying to say. And I may even feature it on a future program or even on tonight's. Who knows? Just like I'm about to do for my dear friend, as I said, Adam Slavitt, who mentioned All in the Family. It got me thinking, you know what? Let me get on the horn and contact our old pal Bupkis. I've told you about Bupkis. Yeah. Well, he's been a little bit out of work, what with the pandemic and so forth. And I said, listen, we've got some work for you if you're up for it. Why don't you become our correspondent, and you can report on some things, give you a little chance to keep your chops up and so forth. And I gave him his first assignment was, of course, Norman Lear. And so without further ado, Norman Lear, creator of so many great shows, you'll remember. Watch this.
This is Correspondent Bupkis at your service, reporting for Dave J. Tuesday.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade. Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days. Take a little Sunday spin, go to watch the Dodgers win. Have yourself a dandy day that cost you under a van. People seem to be content. $50 paid the rent. Freaks were in a circus tent. Those were the days.
You gotta love Norman Lear, but you gotta love Bupkis. I mean, screw Norman Lear. No, I didn't. That came out a little too blue. I don't typically work so blue. But We love Norman Lear. We love Bupkis. We thank you, Bupkis. We're going to have a little bit more reportage from Bupkis later in the show. Reportage, word of the day.
Word of the day.
Should I clarify? Screw Norman Lear in comparison to Bupkis. That unless Norman Lear wants to give Bupkis a show, then call us here or let us know in the comments section below. But listen, we've got so much more to get to because I'm recalling now a time in the early 1980s when I would come home from junior high school and eventually high school, in the early days of high school, and what would I do? My mom and dad were at work. What did I have to do? If I wasn't playing football in front of the house with my friends, I was turning on the old tube, and I was watching shows on Channel 11, which was WPIX, and Channel 5. I don't even know what that was called back then. I don't even recall. Beetle Mike wants to know, is that like RI? What, Rhode Island? What are we talking about here? I've lost the thread. Well, no matter. Of course, WPIX, I mentioned, they were a little bit ahead of the technological curve. What they used to do was very advanced for its time. There were video games like Atari that were very big in those days, and they said, you know what, I know how we'll get kids to tune in. We'll have the Atari-like video game, and then we'll have some kid call in to the special number. He'll win this contest, and all he'll have to say is our call letters. But it's too long to say WPIX. We'll just have him shorten it. We'll go PIX. And if he says PIX, we'll hit the button on the joystick, so it was called, to Ripping One. LOL, Beetle Mike says. All right, Beetle Mike, we'll give you some credit on that. I'm not sure what we're talking about anymore, but it don't matter. I never know what we're talking about. I only make like we do. In any case, did I rip one? Silent but deadly. You know, look, can you see where I already brought this program into the gutter? I'm so sorry. What are you talking about, Beetle Mike? I know I've got my mind on a gazillion things, and it's very possible I just completely don't follow, and I should be. I'm very often like that in life. I'm the last to know. In any case, but yet sometimes I make like I know, and then no one knows I don't know. You know? Okay. Getting back to PIX. He did this video game. The problem with this technology in video game is the kid would inevitably just be wanting you to push the button like this. But they couldn't, because the game was only so advanced that you could only hit it and you had to wait for it to shoot, and then you had to hit it again. But the kid nonetheless was going PIX, 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 PIX. And so let's remember those fun days, huh?
Go.
Wait a second. Ripping One has nothing to do with reportage, Beetle Mike, does it? Did I again miss the thread? I'm not sure what we're talking about. But you know what'll make me feel better? Camera 2. We have a new Camera 2 angle. Hey, up there. How are you? Up there in the cheap seats. Yes, you. Yes, well, welcome. What was it, $1 to get in? Very good. I'm happy for you. All right, we got to go back to the higher paying seats. You'll excuse me. Yeah. Okay, I just had to, give a couple nickels worth to the nosebleeds. In any case, Beetle Mike says your word of the day. Well, okay, I'm getting back to the comments. We'll get to all your comments just soon enough. We've already gone through every comment. Okay, so continuing on our thread of WPIX Channel 11, it begs the question, do you like Coke? Do you like Pepsi? Do you like chocolate? Do you like vanilla? Do you like He-Man, the master of the universe, or do you like the super evil villain nemesis of He-Man, Skeletor? He's my favorite, and we've put together a little compilation of the best of Skeletor and why we love him so.
Witless fools, do I have to do everything for you? Don'ts, half-wits, bunglers, Mindless idiots! You couldn't even beat a motley group of gnomes! Out of my way, beast! Stop him, you fools! It's all your fault, you flea bag! Get out of my sight! Are we flying backwards, beastie? Silence, you furry fool! I've had it with your whining and bumbling. Go, and don't let me see your mangy hide around here again. You furry, flea-bitten fool, I'll cover my throne with your hide. The fool traded it to me for Eternian silver. It's the sorceress, you boob. Back up, muscle boy. You furry coward. Curse you all. You blundering fool. You're all fools if you think you can stop me.
You fools! Anybody who calls anyone a fool, and I believe the proper spelling in the scripts they wrote was fool with an E. F-O-O-L-E-S. Fools! I love how every supervillain refers to everyone else as fools. It's resentment that makes them a supervillain, I suppose. Beetle Mike says he likes the front row seats. And so do I, and guess what? Beetle Mike, at this point, you have an eternal backstage pass at this point. So, worry not, my friend, along with my folks over there. Hi, Mom and Dad, how are you? Glad you could make it. This Sunday is February the 14th, and we all know that's Valentine's Valentine's Day J, I suppose. No, I'm a Jew, so we really don't celebrate the saints. But nonetheless, I'm an American, so we celebrate the Hallmark holidays again, nonetheless. So, we want to remind you to enjoy this Valentine's Day with a few treats we have planned for you this show.
Valentine's Day.
We'd like to kick off our celebration pre-Valentine's Day with a song that I wrote probably around 2007 or so in a very simple green screen video directed by my pal Sandia Dahari, one of two videos that are Valentine's themed, also directed by Sandia. And the first is called simply Valentine. I wanted to set out to see if I could write a song for the holiday, and here it is. Simple though it may be, enjoy.
The signs are clear, my Valentine is here. It would appear I'm grinning ear to ear. That's because I'm in love with my Valentine. Candy hearts and exotic flowers, and the showers of little things that life brings when you're mine. I know that you are who I value, and it's true, my passion's never through. That's because I'm in love with my Valentine. Candy hearts and exotic flowers, and the showers of little things that life brings when you're mine. I boldly propose to have and to hold, the truth be told. I want to grow old with you, with you. The signs are clear, my Valentine is here. It would appear I'm grinning ear to ear. That's because I'm in love with my Valentine. Candy hearts and exotic flowers, and the showers of little things that life brings when you're mine.
Well, boy, what a blast from the past. We want to welcome Mike Schmidt from Only Rock and Roll fame to the proceedings. Welcome, Mike. It's great, and I'm glad, should I say, to have you here. When you're live, you never know what verbs, adjectives, or nouns are going to come in what order. Goodness gracious, we're happy to have you here. Continuing on, talking about the days I used to just come home from junior and then eventually high school and just plop myself down in front of the TV. Homework to do? No, TV to watch. And not without, often, a glass of You Bet chocolate syrup inspired chocolate milk. The best chocolate syrup in the world. From Brooklyn, Mom. Yay! Every time I used to say Brooklyn, my mom would go, yay! Because she's from Brooklyn, as well as my dad, although he was born in the Bronx. But we're gonna give him a free pass on the technicality, because he grew up in Brooklyn and he's a Brooklyn boy all through and through. All right, well, back to Channel 11 WPIX. There was one cartoon among maybe a few that certainly beat Skeletor and He-Man, and that was the legendary classic Popeye the Sailor Man. I said to myself back in those days, you know, I've got to try to work on an impression of this guy, this Popeye fella. And what I did was I took my brother's tape recorder. It was one of those long ones with the thing you'd push a button and it would like flip the... I wish I had the reference available to show you, but I don't. But you'll have to imagine it. One of those long tape recorders had the speaker on this end, the cassette here, and the buttons here. Okay, and he used it to learn his Haftorah for his bar mitzvah. I think that's why my parents probably bought that tape recorder. But by now, my brother was bar mitzvahed, and the tape recorder was just sitting around, probably waiting for me to be bar. Oh no, I probably had already been bar mitzvahed. Anyway, I'm wasting precious time to get to this. And I happened to record the Popeye scat, and I remember to this day that it was this very clip I'm about to show you that I then phonetically wrote out each syllable and practiced over and over and over. First, let's take a look at Popeye and his scat. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I almost want to watch it again, but we have so much to get to. I want to welcome Sean Hanshaw and Cuz Herb and perhaps Tanya Goodman are here from San Francisco. Welcome to the proceedings. I'm delighted to have you here. I want to get to your comments. I'm going to very shortly, but not before sharing with you the fruits of my labor, the best that I can. Now, it's been a long time, but this is basically what I used to do in high school on the morning announcements and so forth. I used to do Popeye the Sailor among other impressions, and I'd go something along the lines of what you just saw. I'd say, skip, 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 bum da bo, skip about a bum da be bum da bob, skip about a bum da be bum da bo, skip about a da do. Something like that, right? It was something like what you just saw. I'm not going to replay it back and see how bad I was in comparison, but you get the idea. Oh, yes. Oh, it killed in high school because everyone was doing the Jim Ignatowski impression. No one was doing the Popeye. Okay, well, the other great cartoon of that era was not, in fact, on Channel 11 WPIX. It was on Channel 5. But it was also in syndication, as obviously was Popeye, and it was in syndication this time from the 1960s. Before I get to this very cartoon, I'm going to give it away with a very special announcement. I had done a cover song of the very popular theme song for this cartoon. The cartoon, just to let you know and let you in, was the Spider-Man cartoon, and it was the Spider-Man theme that my band covered in the probably around 2000-ishness. That's what you say when you're not sure it's somewhere in that vicinity of years. And we did this cover, and my label at that time, Mother West Records, they released it in 2013. It's been kind of killing it on Apple Music and Spotify and other places. Well, we got some indications in the last 2 weeks, coincidentally, perhaps, maybe it's all to do with Thursdays, but on the last 2 Thursdays, it spiked over its normal numbers. It normally gets about 1.6 thousand plays on a Thursday or on a daily basis. And check out these stats. Oh, I'm so happy to report to you. Look, and I have two camera angles to show you why 2 weeks ago Thursday on January 28th, in the bottom of the thing it says 3.7 thousand streams right there on Spotify on January 28th, but not to be unbeaten by the following Thursday, this past Thursday on February 4th. It spiked even more by 176% as opposed to the previous 138%. Right there, 4.5 thousand streams on Spotify this past Thursday. I'm very excited. Are you excited? Let me know in the comments or section below. Fantastic. Okay, so without further ado, I'd of course like to share this very song that's getting played aplenty with you. It's called the Spider-Man theme, and here making a special appearance with a few key dance moves all his own is Spidey.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, there goes that Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes that Spider-Man. In the dew of night, at the scene of the crime, like a streak of light, he arrived just in time. Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. As for fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang up. Wherever there's a hang up, you'll find that spider.
Thanks for making an appearance, Spidey. We're very excited to have you here, but not more excited than we are to have the folks who are writing in. So let's see what you wrote. Okay, well, Sean Henshaw, thank you for pointing out. You're saying, hey, your audio is doubled because double the Dave J, double the fun, eh? I try to cover for technical woes. You'll forgive me. I have no idea why it's doubling. Okay, continuing on. Hey, Sean Henshaw, you wrote me a very thoughtful, generous email giving me feedback. I invited you to do so. I want you to know I sincerely appreciate it. And I wrote you back, and I hope it was received well, and I hope to have a conversation with you about it. I know you're very busy, so that's cool, but if you're unable, but I want you to know that I sincerely appreciated that. Okay, Beetle Sean is here. Beetle Mike. Oh no, I missed it right in between there. My cuz, I glanced, and I saw, I have a good peripheral vision. I just went to my eye doctor for an exam, and now they give me a hard time about the referral. I had the referral. It's too long a story. Anyway, Herb Goodman, my cousin in San Francisco, and cousin Tanya, they are out there in San Francisco, and they say, we really like your Valentine song. Thank you so much. I really appreciated that. And when they were here in New York, they saw my Beatle show, like you did, Beetle Mike. You saw it there in Louisville, Kentucky, and Herb and Tanya saw it here in NYC. Continuing on, we like your song and presentation. Well, we give thanks to Sandia Dahari, my pal who directed that video and edited it. And she said, and they say, here we are in San Francisco, Herb and Tanya. Love you, Herb and Tanya. I miss you. I hope you're doing well out there. Eat plenty of vegetables. What else can I say? I love you. Thanks for watching and for writing in. I really appreciate it. I miss you guys, and maybe one of these days, hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll connect in person. Beetle Mike, hey Herbert, Beetle Mike, ever the social fella, getting involved and saying hello to everybody, and hey Sean, right on the tail of that. Mike Schmidt enjoyed something he was laughing at that I said probably 10-15 minutes ago, but nonetheless, I appreciate it. Anytime I can get a laugh, it gives me good. What's the Yiddish word, Mom and Dad? Is it nachas? Nachas. Every time I say nachas, I think of nachos, and then I want to eat nachos. We don't have time for that now, but continuing on, Adam Slavitt is here, and he says, "Hey, bud." Adam Slavitt, I referenced you at the beginning of the program at the festivities. I mentioned Norman Lear and our friend Bupkis did a whole report. In fact, it was our word of the day reportage. You can rewind and watch. I reference you, and maybe that's why you're here. You got the goosebumps, and you said, I must tune in to Dave J. I know he must have referenced me. Beetle Mike says, wow, fabtastic, and I thank you and right back at you with such superlative adjectives. Hey, Adam, Beetle Mike says, ever the social fellow. Well, continuing on, Friday and Saturday nights when I was a teenager, sadly on one hand and safely on the other, I suppose, my very lovely but overprotective parents said, well, maybe they didn't say you can't go to the parties. Maybe I wasn't invited to the parties, to be fair to my folks. I just always thought, well, I'm just sitting in another Friday and Saturday night, eating a quarter-pound bag of Doritos and drinking Brookdale Cola that my dad got at the wine shop. It wasn't laced with wine, it was just cola. But anyway, that was the cola we drank back in those days. Did you drink Brookdale Cola? What was the name of that place? I worked there for 4 hours and then quit around college. What was the name of that store that we used to get the Brookdale Cola? Anybody know from Livingston? Let us know in the commenter section below. But staying in on Friday nights, my main show was Dukes of Hazzard, and then Saturday night was, as you might have guessed, Saturday Night Live. And here are the folks up there, the Dukes of Hazzard cast. And my favorite character was actually that sheriff on the end. He was Roscoe Pico Train. He would always make that sound. I always thought it was humorous. He was like a modern-age Don Knotts, but nobody's as funny as Don Knotts, so you get my drift. On the south end of that picturageness, as I like to call it, is the 1984 cast of Saturday Night Live, perhaps the best cast that has ever existed. Yeah, I said it. Yes, we all love Belushi, Aykroyd, and so forth. But that cast had Christopher Guest, Martin Short, Billy Crystal, Harry Shearer, and the rest. You had the Sniglets guy there, I see. You had Mary Gross. You had a bunch of great people. Gary Kroger. And look, there's Julia Louise-Dreyfus. But for me, my money was always on Christopher Guest, who had been with the National Lampoon, as well as Billy Crystal, whose comedy I'd always loved since the 70s. Funny, a little behind-the-scenes story, Billy Crystal was slated to be on the first ever Saturday Night Live on October 11th, 1975. His agent wasn't happy with the terms, and though Billy was on the way to New York City from Long Island to be on the show at the last minute, his agent called and said, nope, they cut your time down to 3 minutes or however many fewer minutes. Sorry, we didn't make the deal. Billy Crystal was back on the Long Island Railroad, depressed, not on the original Saturday Night Live, the first episode, and back. Okay, well, we've got plenty more to get to. I teased last week that my dad and I, both big television fans, we used to share Beetle Mike like that. He said, LOL. So I'm glad you stuck with and enjoyed. I knew you would. Hey, you know what? Before I get to my dad and what I teased, I can't believe I haven't even gotten yet to the brand new, not only the brand new camera 2 angle, but we've got a brand new camera 3 angle. We're going to show it to you right now. Look at that. Isn't that exciting? It looks exciting to me here in the monitor. I'm going to show you and say, hello, how you doing? Hey, come on back. We're going to continue with the show. Fantastic. Now I have the dilemma of wondering, well, should I continue on with all the stuff I have planned? We're coming in to where we would normally bring it in for a landing soon, but you know what, I'm going to go a little over because I think we started a minute or so late, and I've got so much more cool stuff to share. It's never ending. Well, my dad and I, over the years, we'd watch TV together, we'd enjoy in television together, we'd delight in television together, and even to recent years, I mean, you know, we'd watch that House MD TV show, for example, and we'd call each other after each episode, me in New York, him in Boynton Beach, Florida. You can send your postcards here, I'll forward them to him. But back in the day, it all started probably around the time we were watching this show. That's right, the A-Team. That's right. Look at that, Mr. T and everybody, and the face was that guy, and then the guy with the cigar was that other fella. And our favorite character is probably the guy in the middle there, the crazy fella. Murdoch was the name of the character. But nobody cared about any of them, Hannibal and Face, because they just wanted to hear from Mr. T. So we have a little bit of a clip here for you. Some very healthy advice from Mr. T.
Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Just shut your damn pie hole when it's all done. But not before enjoying another tune for Valentine's Day. This is one I wrote not for the normal, well-adjusted Valentine, but perhaps somebody who has some emotional issues and is a bit more, as the psychologists say, codependent. This is Be My Codependent Valentine.
Codependent Valentine, I've already built a shrine to feeling unfulfilled. I swallow a heart-shaped bitter pill. Will you be my codependent Valentine? So codependently, without you here, there's no me to speak of anywhere. The fun and dysfunction disappears with our splendid codependent love affair. Hey, I want you to drift away from a place where I can handle it. Wait, enable me a little more. Our therapist says to slip my check under her door. This living, breathing, loving mess that we created with success. I guess we'll have to climb the hopelessly copeless go sublime. I'm your open, codependent Valentine. Yeah.
I love that tune. It's one of my personal faves of the tunes I've written and performed, and I love the video again by the brilliant Sandhya Dhari. Let's hear it for her. Beetle Mike wants to hear a little bit more about, let me go to camera 3, the glasses right here. We've got, I don't know how good the lighting is. We'll go back to camera 2. That'll do it. Look at that. The Dave J. Tuesday glass. I'll take a sip right here. Dave J. Tuesday-licious. And, of course, you have the very popular Dave J. Tuesday mug. which is what I'm doing to the camera right now, mugging. And you can get these fine products. Where can you get them, you wonder? Right here at Zazzle. Check it out. Zazzle.com/store/Dave_J. I was going to add several numbers, letters, and nonsense words to the URL, but I figured it's already easy enough to remember. Once again, that's Zazzle.com/store/Dave_J. You know, it's one thing to watch television and enjoy it as you're watching it. What else have we got? Oh, Dad says Bottle King. Ding, 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 ding. That's where we got the Brookdale Cola. That's right. And I worked there for 4 hours during my college years. Dad said, you got to get a job. You can't sleep late. What are you doing? Go get a job. So I got many, many jobs, but I worked one shift and quit. One was at a movie theater called Essex Green. They were showing Batman. It was the big Michael Keaton Batman. And the line would go down the sidewalk, and then instead of curving around the corner on the sidewalk, the idiots would go right out into the parking lot. The line just went straight out like it was a monolith. And I said, I can't manage these people. I quit. When do I get my check? And then I went back home. And then the next one was Bottle King, and they made me wear a dumb-looking vest. And the guy training me was a creepo. That's Creep-O. And after 4 hours of spending time with this man, I said, I quit. When do I get my check? Anyway, that was my career at Bottle King, but Dad mentions it. And Beetle Mike says, great look at the end of Codependent Valentine. My friend Nina always points that out as well. And I see that Mike Schmidt is still with us, laughing perhaps at the Minkman sketch, I'm guessing. It was a while back. I didn't notice that comment at the time. Thank you all. And thanks about the nice song and video. Yeah, it's one of my faves, as I said. And as I was beginning to tease, yeah, Creepo, right? Creep-O, as I saw it. Anyway, I hope that guy went on to do great things without the vest. It was an ugly vest, and I couldn't have any more of it. When's the check available? All right. Not only is it great to watch television, it's even better to participate, as we're doing tonight. That's what the technology has moved up to. It knew that we wanted to not only watch, but participate. And this was the case back in the 80s when David Letterman was doing his late night program, and you could easily send away for tickets to Late Night with David Letterman on NBC. And within 6 weeks, sometimes even quicker, they would send them to you through the U.S. Postal Service. And on one such occasion, I brought my aforementioned dad to the program, and this is part of one episode that my dad and I were in the physical audience for, and it was great. And I think you're going to enjoy it. Check it out.
Barbara, the world's fastest typist, is going to go up against the fastest typist we have on our staff. Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest working production assistant in American television. Say hello to Barbara Gaines. Barbara, come on out here. Let me help you with that typewriter, Barbara. This is Barbara's first time on our show, and we're happy you decided to help us. Now, how fast can you type a minute, Barbara?
I'm really nervous. I probably won't be able to type.
But what's your best time?
85.
85. Those are huge buttons you have when you're sweating. Okay, Barbara Blackburn, Barbara Gaines.
Hi.
Ladies, now, she's one of our guests. Be a little more hospitable.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
She came to us all the way from Salem, Oregon. All right, here's what we would like you ladies to type. For 1 minute, we'll have a clock on the screen, and from the official Baseball Rules 1984 edition, they will be typing tonight section 8.05, the balk rule. Ladies, are you ready? On your mark, begin typing. 1 minute here. Starting out with the balk rule. They have it in front of them.
Oh, man. And I went to three Letterman shows in all back in those days. My dad went with me probably to one or two. Probably my brother to the other. I'm not even entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure I went to three. Oh, rich. And then it would air later that night, usually. So I would stay up late, and it would start at 12:30, and it would be 12:35, and my dad would be woken up in the middle of the night, and he'd come in, and he'd be like, "It's 1 in the morning!" He'd always round up from 12:35 to 1 in the morning. I never quite understood that type of math, but he was more engineer-y than me. Okay, we've still got a little bit more to get to, because after all, without one particular great late night king, we wouldn't have the wonderful, amazing David Letterman, who has not only influenced me, but has influenced this very program. I feel like this program has the vibe that I hope to capture from the early Letterman shows, and we wouldn't have any of that without this man. Look at this thing. That's right. I wrote to Johnny Carson back in the late 70s, early 80s, and I asked him for his autograph, and I got sent this very number right here. Turns out they're pre-printed. You can buy them online real cheap. They all look very similar. Anyway, nonetheless, we want to invite back our brand new, wonderful correspondent, Bupkis, to tell you a little bit more about Carson, things you perhaps did not know. Take it away, Bupkis.
This is Correspondent Bupkis at your service, reporting for Dave J. Tuesday. The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson was an American talk show hosted by Johnny Carson under the Tonight Show franchise from October 1st, 1962 through May 22nd, 1992. And Johnny has always been the undisputed king of late night. Well, his monologues were beautifully crafted, with occasional sketch comedy, but he was even better known for his supreme interviewing skills.
When you're in a romantic mood, and you're trying to make out, whose records do you put on?
The one we'll always think of as best, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Yeah.
We love that, Carson, and we love you for tuning in. And Mike Schmidt, I almost said Beatle Mike Schmidt. It's actually Rock and Roll Mike Schmidt and Beatle Mike Fonts. Rock and Roll Mike Schmidt points out he remembers watching that very Letterman episode. I was in the audience with my dad, and I was wearing a jacket that my dad and mom bought me at our cousin Phil's store in Glen Cove, Long Island. I had that jacket. I forgot what brand it was, but it was pretty warm. It had Thinsulate. Yes. Do they still make Thinsulate? Well, I don't know. But in any case, to wrap up our Valentine's segment, I want to show you that bumper once more because A, I worked hard on it, and B, I really like it.
Valentine's Day.
I guess that's what happens when you put your heart on the line. And speaking of putting my heart on the line, I am happy to put my heart on the line every day for my beautiful wife, Kumi, for whom I want to share this Valentine's song, the wedding song that I wrote that tells our story. This is for you, Coombs. And here's a little setting for you to kind of make the mood right. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I've been wandering along through a life made of song, discordance mistitled, the words were all wrong, till you appeared to me in the most major key to sing my every happiness. Looking back, have to laugh, I was such a rough draft.
Music you bring, melding art with craft. Daft as it was, I now hum with joy, 'cause of our every happiness. Well, you add sweet harmony atop my melody, and every part of me sings your praise. Each passing moment we compose our symphony, a lifetime tune for the rest of our days. True love ways. What our love has is a classical jazz, and as we look forward for all that's to pass, with musicality I give you all of me, and I'll see to your every happiness.
How many times can I wink in one song? Well, you know, ma to Kumi, ma to you, ma to my ma, or whatever you want. Okay, well, we're going to have to bring the show in for a landing. It's been a blast. I've had the most amazing time, as I hope you have had. And let me see if there are any last comments before I do bring it in for the landing that I will be bringing it in for in moments. I want to wish you an early happy Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is later this year, but I want to wish you an even happier early Valentine's Day. I know it was one of those holidays. You know, my brain has got 1,000,001 things on it. So with that in mind, I want to invite you back next Tuesday, as I do every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here at Dave J from NYC's page. And I'm Dave J. This has been Dave J Tuesday. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.